Every complex application eventually fails. The servers go dark, processes halt, and the user is left with a dead endpoint. What remains in the immediate aftermath is a stack trace. This cascade of terminal output traverses local scripts, standard libraries, and third-party dependencies. It is tempting to read this text as a simple list of broken code, but that misinterprets the output. A stack trace is a precise forensic blueprint of the Python runtime state at the exact millisecond of collapse. By isolating the top half of the trace, we can map the first core engine of the language. This section details how the interpreter locates disparate files and dynamically links them into a single unified namespace. The bottom half exposes the second engine. When a programmatic rule is broken, Python does not crash chaotically. It systematically terminates execution and unwinds memory, frame by frame. By deconstructing this sequence of events, we can stop treating the interpreter as a black box. The stack trace becomes a predictable, navigable map of Python's internal architecture. This diagram maps a specific line from the stack trace, pointing to a pathway inside a site packages directory. This is the entry point for understanding how external code enters the runtime. The Python package index contains over 600,000 packages. Tools like pip pull these components down and stage them within virtual environments. This cooperative isolation ensures that the system path, sys.path, can discover the correct dependencies. But a module is not a static text file. Once discovered, the interpreter converts that file into an initialized runtime object, backed by a namespace dictionary called dict. Every function and variable from the script becomes a key value pair inside this namespace. To organize these dictionaries, Python uses packages. A package is a special kind of module that contains a path attribute, which tracks the hierarchy of these nested namespaces. Python defines two types of packages. Regular packages rely on an init.py file for implicit execution. Namespace packages, defined in PEP 420, have no init file at all. They composite virtual modules from separate directories or zip files into one seamless namespace. A Python package is never a static folder sitting on a hard drive. It is a dynamic, composite namespace constructed continuously during execution. This construction process is triggered by a single statement found in the stack trace, import. This flowchart details the mechanics of importlib. Unlike a C-style include directive that copies text, Python handles imports through an extensible protocol divided into two distinct steps, finders and loaders. The finder's sole responsibility is location. It scans the sys.path entries to find the resource. If successful, it returns a module spec, a rigid blueprint encapsulating the import-related information. That blueprint passes to the loader. The loader actively executes the source code line by line, filling the empty module dictionary with live objects. Before finishing, the import machinery stamps this dictionary with critical metadata, securely attaching the fully qualified name, the package string, and a reference back to the loader itself. To prevent redundant executions, the final initialized module is cached inside a system registry called sys.modules. Any subsequent import request will pull directly from this cache. This cache is critical. If a module falls out of scope, its dictionary is cleared entirely, even if live references exist. The import statement is an aggressive, state-altering command. It actively builds the architecture of the application in real time. If the top of the stack trace shows the architecture being built, the bottom shows where it broke. We can isolate the exact line where the runtime engine halted, often marked by something like a zero division error. This diagram illustrates the call stack. In Python, an exception is not an arbitrary jump instruction. It is a stateful class instance, explicitly instantiated to break normal control flow. Python operates on a termination model of error handling. The interpreter cannot repair the cause of the error and retry the failing operation from the same spot. It must systematically unwind the invocation stack. This search is governed by the try block. The try statement designates a monitored suite of code. If an exception triggers within this boundary, normal execution pauses immediately, and the handler search begins. The accompanying except clause evaluates the incoming exception. It checks for compatibility, verifying if the raised object matches the exact class or a base class of the targeted exception type. Error handling in Python is a highly structured, object-oriented unwinding of the call stack. Traceback outputs frequently contain the phrase, "The above exception was the direct cause of the following exception." This reveals a multi-layered failure. This visualization shows exception chaining. If a new exception is raised inside a handler or a finally clause, the original exception is explicitly attached to the new object via the context attribute. Python provides an absolute cleanup guarantee through the finally clause. When an exception reaches this block, it is temporarily saved in a holding state. The cleanup code executes, and then the saved error is re-raised. There is an architectural caveat to this mechanism. If a return, break, or continue statement executes within that finally block, the temporarily saved exception is permanently discarded. There is also a hidden memory hazard. When an exception is caught and assigned to a variable, using except e as n, that exception object binds directly to the traceback. The traceback points to the stack frame, which points back to the local variable n. This creates a reference cycle. It keeps all local variables in that frame alive, completely blinding the garbage collector and causing memory leaks. To defend against this, Python takes aggressive action. At the exact moment the except block ends, the interpreter forcefully deletes the assigned target variable, severing the reference cycle so the frame can be cleared. Python enforces rigid memory safety during a stack collapse. It will sacrifice access to the exception variable to protect overall integrity of the runtime memory. Pulling back from the micro-memory level, this heavily annotated stack trace traces the complete architecture. It exposes the paths of the finders and loaders, and the exact route of the unwinding exceptions. This architecture dictates how developers write Python. Traditional C-style languages often rely on look before you leap, using preemptive if and else checks to evaluate conditions before executing them. Python relies on a philosophy known as easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, or EAFP. Developers assume the existence of valid keys and attributes, running the code immediately and wrapping it in try and except blocks to handle the fallout. This is preferred because Python's exception handling and module namespaces are systematically tracked and heavily optimized at the core C level of the interpreter. Trying to preemptively validate every piece of a dynamic runtime-generated namespace is slower and more fragile than simply allowing the highly structured exception engine to do its job. In Python, the overarching structure of modules and the systemic failures of exceptions are first-class manipulatable objects. A crash is not a fatal halt. It is the ultimate diagnostic tool.